So today I'd like to tell everybody exactly what Satan is actually like and how he operates in this world through a handful of conscious servants and hundreds of millions of servants who are unaware that they are servants of Satan or of other demons. This understanding is absolutely pivotal to the positive evolution of human society and humanity's ability to protect ourselves from Satan's schemes until the end of time, because Satan and friends are immortal and humanity will always have to deal with their efforts to enslave your souls, because power over human souls is the greatest power that they can achieve. Naturally, demons and unempathic sociopaths in general are motivated entirely by predatory power over others, which is a very important psychology for humanity to understand, especially in its logical culmination as mass deception. Further, the greatest power that can be gained over humanity involves separating humans from love itself, which makes them far easier to totally control and to vampirically spiritually feed off of. And this mechanism of spiritual control through separation from love is the fundamental conspiracy at the heart of Earth's collective trauma. The current nature of society, which has endured this mass shadowy conspiracy to separate as many souls as possible from love itself so as to misdirect their fate and enslave them, is that humanity at large is in a hostage situation based upon their ignorance of the properties by which their souls and psychologies either grow in freedom and wisdom and divinity or decay into demonic bondage. Reality is much more frightening and tragic than most are capable of imagining, but there is also far more beauty and potential than most are capable of imagining, because human souls are capable of becoming like unto God, which requires the purification of love, and is of course the last thing that Satan and friends want, because attaining that level of consciousness frees your soul from their slavery. As such, it is and likely will forever be the conscious motivation of Satan and demons and the millions of humans who are consciously or unconsciously beholden unto the sociopathic will of evil, to prevent all other souls from attaining unto virtue and divinity by whatever nefarious means they can. The mechanisms by which humanity is separated from the divine are very straightforward and logical, though they quickly escalate into complexity. The most efficient ways to separate mankind from love itself, which is the Holy Spirit indwelling in man, whether you know it by that or not, is to invert our understanding of what is pure and sacred until people can be convinced not to honor the divine in their spirits, but to instead worship sin, which is not some arbitrary authoritarian construct of a cruel God, as you may have been led to believe, but is simply any action or demeanor which invariably leads you away from your own positive evolution and unto destruction. Simply forging our spirits to be guided by love and encouraging others to do the same is one of the most profoundly powerful things that can be done, because when we are truly guided by and understand love, evil has a much more difficult time seducing us with illusions and stealing our future. Unfortunately, love must be ever wary in this world and prepared to defend itself with greater power and truth than is used to harm it, for love is automatically the enemy of and an obstacle against all who seek to degrade and control the human spirit for their own gain. True love, true divine love, does not submit to those who would destroy it, which is a common malicious deception that is implanted in those who pursue love through the false idol of pacifism. The further inversion of all that is sacred is accomplished in many ways which currently permeate our culture and are easily observable. Sex is a profound and sacred intimate energy. When individuals have a deep spiritual connection with one another, there are few things as sacred as that bond of intimacy. Yet Satan and accomplices do everything in their power to invert the sacred components of sex, to saturate our consciousness with the glorification of meaningless, purely physical sexual obsession, and to further degrade mankind's sexual impulse with perverse fantasies and filthy obsessions, which completely neglect and inhibit the development of profound spiritual bonds and relationships. Similarly, the sacred archetypes of the masculine, the feminine, and the child are constantly maliciously twisted and attacked so as to confuse people in regards to the pure nobility and virtue of these righteous characteristics. The sacred masculine, which embodies a leader, a guide, a provider, a warrior, and a protector, is deceptively ridiculed as inherently toxic. The sacred feminine, which embodies a healer, a gentle and supportive caretaker and nurturer, fluid and beautiful, is regarded as old-fashioned or weak, while women are encouraged to compete against and overpower traditional male roles and essentially become more masculine. The sacred child, which is meant to discover itself and to learn and to grow in safety and in harmony, is constantly flooded and threatened by the imagery of adult perversions, while being taught to glorify obedience over the passionate pursuit of knowledge. Demons and their human hosts and friends work ceaselessly to confuse you in regards to what is virtuous, so that they can implant false virtues within you which will lead you away from true divinity, so as to more easily convert you into a predictable automaton and steal your future. To Satan, that is essentially all that humans are, is tools to be used to build an empire of pure perversion and bloodlust, which blasphemes all that is holy and good. And yet mankind truly has the potential to overcome all evil and wickedness, to embody godliness, and to manifest a paradise which provides the opportunity for all people to pursue their highest potential, which is all very threatening to demons who want humans to remain enslaved. But if we want to get there, then we need to have a cultural understanding of what is righteous and what is impure, of what is virtuous and what is malicious, of what is good and what is evil. These things might seem as though they should be obvious, and yet evil almost always masquerades as a virtue, and these demons are truly ancient. They have lied to each and every one of your ancestors and constantly studied how best they can continue to lie to and enslave humanity forever, if possible. They have conspired to infiltrate and own every media conglomerate. They have constantly tweaked the algorithms of every social network, and they've hijacked as much of the global economy as physically possible. Humanity must develop deep skepticism in regards to how and why information is presented to them, or they will forever be led astray. This year, 2020 in particular, is filled with examples of the Trojan horses which demons have manufactured to divide everyone. They've artificially exaggerated racial tensions and manipulated organizations such as Antifa and Black Lives Matter as Trojan horses to convince you that destroying your own cities is a solution to racial inequality, which is actually going to provide an excuse for further governmental authoritarianism. That's largely how Satan works. His schemes are never going to be obvious to your first impression unless you have prepared yourself psychologically to be intensely skeptical. Satan presents us with real problems, often that he creates, dramatized and exaggerated through his mainstream propaganda outlets, and then shows you a false solution to those problems, which further binds your spirit and the future of humanity to his will. All the while, of course, convincing humanity that he and demons and evil ghosts are all just crazy fairy tales, and that it would be normal and good for you to psychologically torture anybody who dares imply that they've had experiences with ghosts or demons or psychic encounters. But the occult is quote-unquote alien disclosure, and reality being real is kind of a big deal. Disclosure is all about God and angels and demons and Satan, and that's why it's harder to talk about than if it was just organic humanoids in spaceships from different planets. Anyways, if Satan disagrees with me or has anything to add about his nature, he can feel free to comment in my comment section, since I know for a fact that one of the only souls who watches my channel is one of Satan's necromancer children, who can directly channel him when so inclined. He watches me due largely to the fact that I'm some sort of semi-important nameless angel, and the information I have been pouring forth into the world would absolutely jeopardize Satan's domination of the future of this world if it became more publicly accessible. He also likes to invert everything I say and teach so as to more effectively enslave humanity, since I am a representative of the divine will of God, who severely needs to work on coming up with more creative ways to give humanity my knowledge, for the sake of the fate of the future of all souls in this dimension. So yeah, that's how reality works, that's how Satan works. The inevitable motivation of demons will always be to separate your souls from divine love, And humanity needs to be prepared to confront the lies of the ultimate evils in the universe if humanity is going to build a world which is actually supportive of humanity's best interests and evolution. That's all for now, and if you have any questions about Satan or demon or angels or God, feel free to ask them in the comment section, and I'll get back to you.